Hello fellow friends. 71 parts of our earth are water and only 29 parts are where our entire human civilization resides, and this place is our everything. The vastness of the ocean is such that it challenges even our imagination, and there are so many mysterious places in this ocean that we may never even see them all, won't be able to. One of these is the Bermuda Triangle, and like this mystery, there is another mystery of the Titanic ship. Even 73 years after the ship sank, researchers have not discovered where the ship is or how. And even after 35 years, it is possible to save this ship. Is not. In today's video, we will not discuss why the ship sank. In today's video, we will tell you why and for what reason that ship could never be saved, and perhaps never for friends. Why did the Titanic ship sink? Or how did it sink? We all know this. And the main role behind knowing this was the best movie named Titanic. Like in the year 1911 when the Titanic sank, scientists made repeated efforts to find it, but no one could find it. Their search process for the ship continued for 73 years, but how would they know the ship's location? But in 1985, an archaeologist and US Navy officer, Robert Ballard, set out to find the ship and discovered Titanic's current location. How is it or how this was discovered? After finding the Titanic, many such mysteries emerged that took quite some time to uncover. The ship, broken into two parts, had sunk 12,000 feet deep, or could take almost 4 kilometers in the ocean. It can be known from the deep official record. Just before sinking, the ship disappeared, but when it began to sink into the depths of the sea, it broke into two parts. But why? According to the report of Titanic, the new evidence, it is said that Titanic did not sink by colliding with an iceberg, but rather it sank due to a fire. The ship sank due to a fire. When researchers found the ship, they saw many things in its wreck that were still almost intact. They later tried to recover the ship, but by then they had understood that it would never be recovered. However, they discovered some more mysterious events behind the sinking of the Titanic. But still, the original event of the Titanic sinking remains shrouded in mystery to the earth. Similarly, in the new era of technology, it is not possible to salvage the ship without multiple attempts. Therefore, the ship is still submerged in the depths of the sea. Or friends, the ship sinks to the bottom of the sea, divided into almost two parts, and that is why any other ship is hoisted from the depths of the sea. In this way, lifting is not possible. Like a biscuit dipped in tea being beaten, the ship faces such a situation to be raised. But still, with various modern technology, submarines and magnetic systems, perhaps this ship can be raised. However, some issues are likely to arise for this as well. As the first issue is the weight of the Titanic. Because the Titanic weighs 143,000 tons, which is very much. And then there is the water pressure, which is much more than the weight of the ship. The water pressure at the current depth of the Titanic in the sea, it is very much. To lift an object of just 1 square inch from such depth requires the force of 392 kilometers. They will need. But until today, scientists have not succeeded in creating submarines or magnets powerful enough to bring up the Titanic from such depth. At the beginning of the 21st century, there was no plan to salvage the ship, and so they began to plan to save the ship through some strange methods. One of these is the plan to save the Titanic ship with ping pong balls. You heard it right. Researchers thought that if ping pong balls were filled into the sunken ship in the ocean depths, these balls would exert upward pressure and make it possible to save the ship using submarines and powerful magnets. But then it did not occur to the researchers that these ping pong balls would burst under the ocean's pressure before reaching the depths, and so they later planned to save the Titanic ship with balloons. Instead of imagining filling helium gas into thousands upon thousands of balloons, the royal balloon ships were anchored. It might be possible to save the ships tied above the balloons, but no one thought that so deep in the ocean, filling the balloons with helium gas would Tara Mountain and yet another conception. Tara believed that ice should have low density water and that ice gets trapped in water. Tara was researching the idea that the ship anchored at the deep sea, if there is a future transformation of water into ice, then trapped water would flow to that place. And he gave the idea to American engineer Jean-Pierre, who found a large amount of nitrogen. The idea was excellent. However, according to the British gas company Bocke, 500,000 tons of nitrogen would be needed for this project. And then everyone wonders if it is possible to take a large amount of liquid nitrogen deep into the sea, and does this technology become a reality? No. A legendary shipbuilder, Mikhail Radonitsky, spoke of another technology to recover the Titanic using a submarine. Mikhail, who designed many submarines used by various countries' militaries during World War II, said that to recover the ship one must first clear the rocks and various debris surrounding it. Yes. And for this powerful machines will be needed that are capable of cleaning the dirt. Then many powerful iron cables will need to be connected to the empty boat in the middle of the Titanic, and this entire task will be done by this machine. After that, such a submarine arrangement will be made whereby the submarine will be filled with gas. An enormous amount of electricity will be necessary for the improvement project. Mikhail estimates the project will require 20 million kilowatt hours of electricity. Therefore, a massive power plant will be necessary for the project. However, it is possible to establish such a massive and powerful power plant in the depths of the sea. Minaha, floating power plants were a concern, but it is not possible to reach the deep sea electrical cables in any way, because it would burst under excessive water pressure. However, if any future possibility exists for the project, it would be an alarming project. I temporarily put the project on hold. Many companies had planned to rescue the ship, but doing so was quite costly. However, they still attempted to rescue it. However, they are not doing it because a large amount of money is displaced in attempts to salvage, and even if there is any future possibility, any chance of profit is far-fetched. There is no prospect of recovering the invested money, and that is why big companies do not realize the project. Researchers are improving the concept. If any company attempts to rescue the Titanic ship and convert it into a museum, it could take up to 100 years to gather the necessary funds. Even though this ship is associated with many emotional stories, no company is willing to take such a big risk policy-wise. No, these bacteria are destroying the ship. It is said that in a few years these bacteria will almost completely destroy the ship, not allowing for repairs, and various types of marine organisms have made the ship their dwelling place. And thus UNESCO declared this ship as an underwater cultural heritage protected site in the year 2001. It is naturally said that any company that attempts to salvage the ship will incur such an expense that with that amount of money it would be possible to purchase a new ship. And that is why no company should engage in such foolish acts. Therefore, it is not possible to undertake any further rescue of this ship because this ship has turned into a monument. A vast amount of money will be required to salvage it, and even after salvaging, it will not be usable for any purpose. Therefore, it is naturally said that this ship may never be salvaged. If this ship remains on the seabed for a long time, then American future reproduction. You will listen to and see the mysterious story of the Titanic ship through a video. If you like it, give it a like, and if you enjoy watching mysterious, uncommon, interesting videos, then subscribe to the Mayajal channel and press the bell icon nearby. So, do watch the upcoming episode. See you then. Thank you.